Yo, the Warriors have won 3 straight, and the Orlando Magic are up next. We bring in a Magic source for a little preview. Let's break it down.
You are Locked On Warriors, your daily Golden State Warriors podcast.
What are they going to say now?
Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
How are we feeling, everyone? Welcome to the Locked On Warriors, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. This show is brought to you Monday through Friday. You can catch us on YouTube, wherever you get your audio podcast. If you're hanging out with us right now on YouTube, make sure you hit that like, hit that subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend, and don't sleep on that audio podcast now. Take us on the go. Very good way to check out this show. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Now, the #1 sports podcast network out there. My name's Charlie Walter. I covered the team in the past for CBS News Bay Area for 95.7 The Game. We bring in Kenny Morales. Caught him fixing his hair. Looking dapper now, Ken.
Thank you.
Kenny, a longtime sports anchor in Orlando, longtime sports anchor, or rather Tampa Bay is where he spent just about all his time. But from Orlando, Magic guy, knows a ton about the team. And yes, everyone is indeed in. And a lot of people were in on the Magic this year because on paper, they have a really good team. Record-wise, they've been right about 500, right about at that Mendoza line. But we're going to talk about this matchup. What's up, Ken? How we doing?
Good, buddy. How are you doing?
I'm well, man. I'm well. I talked to you like 2 days ago, so we don't have to spend too much time.
How much has changed really in 48 hours? But
not much at all. Actually, a lot has changed for the Warriors in I guess maybe not 48, but like 96 hours of real time. They went from Draymond Green saying that people aren't bought in, the team was sputtering, to now they've won 3 straight games. We'll say Jonathan Kuminga will miss the Orlando Magic game, so he remains out for the Warriors. But the hope is that everyone else will be playing for Golden State. Now, for the Magic, Paolo Banchero, obviously the big injury news. What can you kind of relay on that front?
yeah, he's out. I just was taking a look at the status report on him. He's out with that groin strain he suffered against the New York Knicks. So this will be his 3rd missed game. Doesn't sound like it's supposed to be, extended time. Like even he said himself, he's feeling okay, but they don't want to push it right now so early in the season. My guess is he misses like another week or so. And then Jalen Suggs, the other guy who missed this past Sunday's game against the Houston Rockets, also oddly enough with a groin injury. Last year it was obliques for the Magic. This year it's groins. We have an epidemic going on here in Orlando. But yeah, it sounds like he is possible to play. He's questionable right now, but it was just a little soreness he was dealing with against the Rockets. So fingers crossed he can go for Orlando.
So tell me about this team. Last year, we saw the Warriors play them a couple times. I believe it was that game in Orlando where Steph went for, 50-something to take him down. Yeah, and then the one at Chase Center, I was actually there covering that game live in person. And what I took away from both those games, actually not from the one in Orlando, because the Magic were red hot in that game. And Orlando and Golden State needed that Curry performance to take him down. But the game in Golden State, and for the most part, the entire season, Orlando couldn't really shoot. They realized that. They go out in the offseason. They trade KCP for Desmond Bane, who's one of the better sharpshooters in the game. They have Tristan da Silva, who's a real nice 6'8" shooter. Aside from that, not a great shooting team. What's kind of been plaguing them thus far?
So I think the biggest issue, like you mentioned, it's been shooting. Like you mentioned, getting Desmond Bane, you were hoping that was going to aid in your 3-point woes. Well, he started off terrible from 3, which was a nightmare scenario for Magic fans because they just dealt with this with KCP last year. He's only shooting about 33% right now from 3, which is pretty low for him. He's a 40% guy, but that's a nice bump compared to what he was at like 4 or 5 games into the season. He's starting to find his groove now. I think he's had like 4 straight games of 20 or more points. He's getting to the basket, and he's finally starting to find his 3-point shot. I think he shot like 38, 39% the last like 5, 6, 7 games, something like that. So he's finally starting to come into his own. And now you're seeing some other guys actually be able to hit the 3 ball. Tristan da Silva, one of the guys you mentioned, I think he's been the most impressive player for the Magic thus far in terms of just the growth he's shown from year 1 to year 2. This is a dude that last year averaged like 7 points a game with not very good efficiency. Now he's shooting like 40% from 3, almost 50% from the floor, and Chuck, the confidence he has, you can just see it in him. Like, he will immediately shoot that thing. He'll take guys off the dribble. Like, he looks like a completely different player. And then some other guys, like, you might not think, like Wendell Carter Jr., the dude that last year, his three-point shot fell off a cliff. He was shooting like 24%. Never been a great three-point shooter, but years prior, it was around league average, 35, 36. He's up to like 42% right now on like 3 or 4 threes a game. So he's been a decent like pick and pop big for them. And then Jalen Suggs has been the other guy. We saw he's kind of been up and down in terms of his three-point shooting. But this year, I think he's right around 39, 40%. So it's been a nice change of pace for the Magic. They are no longer dead last in three-point shooting. I know that. So that's already an improvement from last year.
Who do you think has the best advantage for the Magic against the Warriors and where they can really attack Golden State?
I mean, right now it's probably Franz Wagner. That's probably the easy answer, but Franz has kind of been able to attack pretty much everybody. He did that last night against the Houston Rockets, went off for 30-something, and has the biggest thing for him is the three-point shots back, right? Like, that was the knock on him the last couple of years. He was averaging like 24, 25% from three. The shot still looks a little wonky. Like, when you watch it, it's like he's loading it up and you're waiting for the green meter to hit in NBA 2K. It's very long and it takes a while to get off, but he's shooting 35, 36%, which is fine. League average, great. That's all we're asking for. But he's getting to the basket. And right now, this is the Franz that I talked about it with you a couple weeks ago. This is number one option Franz right now. And when he was that last year, when Paolo went out, he was playing at like a completely different level. And he looks like an all-star right now, an all-NBA caliber player right now. He has been really, really big for them these past couple games. The Knicks game, unfortunately, they lost their Rockets game, but he was phenomenal in that. I think he could have a big day, especially if you don't have like a guy like Kuminga, or is there anyone in particular? I guess you maybe put Draymond on him because Franz is 6'10". So
yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. If it's not Draymond, I guess it would be Jimmy Butler, right? That's someone in the starting lineup potentially. Point of attack, Moses Moody could potentially pick him up, but who knows what the matchup's going to be. In terms of bigs down low, is it? I always say his name wrong.
Bataze.
Bataze, that's it.
Bataze.
Bataze, Wendell Carter, anyone that can destroy the Warriors on the interior, or is that not really the Magic's bread and butter?
That's not really their bread and butter. No, Wendell Carter Jr.
What is their bread and butter?
Their bread and butter is, well, when Paolo's out there, I mean, they lead the league in free throws. So they get to the basket and they get to the line a ton. And they get out in transition a lot. Like that, the pace has come down a little bit, but they're still pushing the tempo compared to last couple years. And I would say mid-range and in. They're not a great three-point shooting team. They don't shoot a ton of them, but they're really good to get into the basket. But it's not really like pass it into Wendell and, back to the basket, let them go to work. It's more so give it to our big 6'10" jumbo wings and Franz and Paolo and let them go to work and they can get to the basket. Even Desmond Bane, like that's kind of the thing that most impressed me or surprised me the most about Bane's game, just because I watched highlights of him before he came to Orlando, was mostly, three-point shots and mid-range jumpers. He gets to the rack really well. Like he was blown by a bunch of dudes in Houston against the Knicks, and he finishes well around the rim. I would say that's probably their bread and butter. But like Wendell, he's more of like he can hit an occasional three. He'll hit like a 15-footer in the mid-range. And yeah, they'll give him like, him and Franz Wagner, they'll run the pick and roll there, and then he'll get the occasional alley-oop. Goga, he's pretty much just like under the basket, couple of layups here and there, maybe an occasional dunk. You're not really giving the ball to Goga in the low post and saying, all right, go to work, big fella.
All right, so when we return, I want to get Kenny's thoughts on the Golden State Warriors, what he knows about him, what he knows about the Dubs as a whole, what he's going to be expecting from this game down in Orlando. Also want to ask him a little bit about the Houston Rockets. It's a team that the Magic just took into OT. It's a team that the Warriors are going to see quite a bit of, that they will be competing with in the West, and that they took down in the first round of the playoffs last year. So lots more to come on Locked On Warriors, a little crossover, talking Orlando Magic, talking Golden State Warriors ahead of their Tuesday night matchup in the happiest place on earth, Orlando, Florida.
Destroy Jimmy and Domino's. I know Jimmy drinks great wine.
This episode is brought to you by Rippling. If you're a business owner, here's the truth. SaaS promised to make work easier, but now the average company is buried by hundreds of apps that slow down your teams and simply don't work together. That's not SaaS, that's sad. Software as a disservice. That's why you need Rippling. Rippling is the unified platform for global HR, payroll, IT, and finance all in one place. They've helped millions of businesses replace a mess of disconnected tools with one system designed to give leaders clarity, speed, and control. Takes away the bottlenecks and busy work that slows teams down and makes things efficient. Everything from onboarding, payroll, IT access runs automatically and perfectly in sync. And right now, you can get 6 months free when you go to rippling.com/lockedonnba. Learn more at rippling.com/lockedonnba. That's Rippling, rippling.com/lockedonnba for 6 months free. Today's episode is also brought to you by PrizePicks. You and I make decisions every day, but on PrizePicks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement of this sports season, whether you're following the NFL, NBA, or both. There's no better time to jump in on the action. If you haven't tried it yet, PrizePicks is the simplest way to play. You pick more or less on at least 2 player stats, and if you get them right, you win. It takes less than 60 seconds to make your lineup, and you can play anywhere. PrizePicks does operate in California. I've been using PrizePicks during this NBA season, going with Curry overs against the Spurs, absolutely over threes, Draymond Green unders. That's a slight jab. But hey, offensively, you got to be smart. And if you download the PrizePicks app today and use code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup, that's code LOCKEDONNBA, $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it is good to be right.
Destroy Jimmy and Domino's. I know Jimmy drinks great wine.
All right, man. Warriors are riding hot right now. Specifically, well, I was going to say specifically Steph Curry, but Curry struggled. It took him 2.5 quarters to get a bucket in against the, God, I'm already forgetting, the New Orleans Pelicans.
Right? I was gonna say,
Yeah, Pelicans down in the Big Easy. We weren't talking too much about New Orleans. It was a lot of us, not a lot of them. Right?
There's a team that Curry's going to struggle against. Go ahead and let it be New Orleans. You can still
That's what
figure
I'm
out
saying.
who will win the game.
That's what I'm saying. And Moses Moody picked up the slack with a career high 32 in that game, had 7 threes in the first quarter. But the last week, all the talk has been how Steph Curry has not lost a step in these big games. Now, consistently, you're not going to get the performances maybe that you once did. But when the lights shine the brightest, I mean, 46 and 49 in consecutive games with Victor Wembanyama controlling the paint and Stephon Castle guarding you. I mean, this dude is incredible. What stands out to you about this year's Warriors team as compared to some of the best in NBA history?
I don't know why, but the first thing that caught my mind is the last thing I saw on the internet was Draymond arguing with that Pelicans fan. But
Oh, we got to talk about this. So, because we haven't brought it up on this program.
It's so funny.
So someone called him Angel Reese.
Yes.
And he responded to it and was like, why are you calling me a female? Like, why are you calling me Angel
did.
Reese?
Yep.
And obviously we know why that fan called him Angel Reese. It's because honestly, I mean, in terms of like the game, in terms of like being a bruiser, in terms of being a defensive stalwart and not being able to hit shots close to the rim, there are some similarities, but completely disrespectful to one of the greatest defenders on planet Earth.
No, I agree. And I get it. Look, fans are going to chirp. Draymond has a right to defend himself. I like the interaction. I thought it was funny. Like, yeah, it was a little, heated there for a moment, but like, I don't think it was anything too crazy. The fan was a little disrespectful. I agree with that. I don't think it was cool for him to bring out Angel Reese's name too. But the other thing that I noticed was like that fan was like crazy tall for like an average person. Like he was above Draymond, and Draymond's what, 6'7", 6'8"?
6'6", 6'7", yeah.
6, like that was a tall. I don't know. That was the person that stuck out to me. I was like, that guy's like line of sight is above Draymond. Why isn't this guy hooping in the NBA? But yeah, that was crazy. I don't know, man. This Warriors team to me is so interesting just because I think back to last year's trade deadline. They go out and get Jimmy Butler, and it was was a little bit of a slow start there, or was it instant success? I can't remember off the top of my head.
It was instant success, man.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. And so now you got 9-6 here. You've kind of it seems like has it been a little up and down to start the year for the most part?
It's been weird in that the game against the Thunder was definitely ugly, and the Warriors really never had a shot. But aside from that, every game that the Warriors should get up for, they've gotten up for. I mean, they took down Denver. Granted, they lost to Denver without Curry on the floor, but you knew they were going to lose that game.
Yeah.
But in terms of beating Denver, losing to Sacramento when you don't have Steph and Jimmy and Draymond. You expect that. They lost a game to Indiana, which didn't make a ton of sense, but at the
Ooh,
same time, sleepy game right around Halloween.
yeah. Ouch.
Indiana didn't have anyone, right? So
That's Indiana's like lone win, I think.
yeah, Milwaukee with no Giannis, where you go into the game thinking you're prepping for Giannis, and then you find out he's a game time scratch, so you lose that one. But you take care of the Lakers opening night, the Nuggets, the Clippers, destroy the Grizzlies, destroy the Suns. So it's been, for the most part what we kind of expected record wise at this point. It's just been a weird way of getting to 9-6,
Right.
and the sweep over the Spurs. That was probably their most impressive stretch of the season.
I was going to say, those are the two games that I watched. Obviously, I don't have a league pass or whatever, so I'm not able to watch the Warriors a ton, but I was watching highlights the other day. Yeah, dude, Curry's just insane. Like, he's just unreal. It's nuts what he's still doing. It kind of like what he's doing. It reminds me of a dude that I just watched beat the Magic, and it's Kevin Durant. Like, the fact that both guys are still doing this in their late 30s now, just absolutely the elite of the elites when it comes to scoring the basketball. I mean, it's unfair. And that's why for the Magic, as a Magic fan, I'm really like crossing my fingers that Jalen Suggs plays, because he is our best perimeter defender. And I thought he did a really good job against Jalen Brunson a couple days ago against the Knicks. Now, Brunson still ended up getting, 20 something points or whatever, or maybe 30, but it was a pretty inefficient night for him. I think he only shot like, I don't know, below 50%, like below 40% shooting or something like that. But if it's not Suggs, then you're probably looking at a combination of Desmond Bane and Anthony Black. Bane, a formidable defender, like he can hold his own, but he is not Jalen Suggs in terms of just the disruption, the court, like the pressure and the chaos he can create. Like, Suggs is just constantly in your grill, poking at the ball, trying to create a steal, trying to create a turnover. And then Black is just a little bit different. He's not as chaotic, but he's so long and lanky. He's 6'7" with like a whatever crazy wingspan that he's able to, if a guy blows by him, kind of poke the ball out. Franz Wagner does that quite a bit as well. Both are really, really good at that. So they're going to need one or two, all three of those guys to step up big time, because can't have a repeat performance of Curry from last year in Orlando.
I like your analysis. When it comes to answering a question about the Warriors and you haven't seen them play a whole ton, it's always smart to just say, well, that Steph Curry guy's still really damn good.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I am grinding Golden State Warriors.
I want your thoughts on Moses Moody and his ball screen action and how he's, hedging defensive screens.
Yeah, no, I mean, I shot Moses Moody. He balled out last night, or was it last night? Whatever this post, whenever they played Sunday, right? Yeah. He was great. And I mean, I'm guessing if you're a Warriors fan, or if you cover the Warriors, that's probably a guy that you're hoping takes that big next step and is going to probably play a key role for them if they want to actually, advance in make the playoffs and advance in the playoffs. Him, I'm guessing maybe Pajemski and any of those other guys, or Pods. I don't know if he actually calls him by his last name.
Everyone just calls them Pods. Yeah, it's got to be internal. And here's the thing. It's got to be internal to get you to the point where it no longer has to be internal.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think the front office is set on winning championships with this group. Like you don't pay Jimmy Butler damn near $60 million to get close, right? They're dead set on winning this thing. And if that requires packaging Kuminga, Pajemski, Buddy, Moody, Trace, whoever it would take to get the player that they believe takes them over the top, I do believe they would do that. But I do think the most realistic way of them being competitors is just continuous internal development. And it's been kind of slow moving, man. They haven't had that one player that's just popped. We thought it was Kuminga to start the season, and he just kind of, he's hurt. And then a few games before he was hurt, he just wasn't playing as good of basketball. It felt like the defense is still a little sketchy. And offensively, he went from, really dominating that first half of the Sacramento game, which you knew he was going to do considering Jimmy, Steph, and Draymond aren't out there. And then the second half, he kind of disappeared, and he had disappeared the next couple games. So we'll see when he comes back. He will be missing the Orlando game, but we'll see when he comes back how he slides back in, considering the Warriors have found this starting lineup that seems to work with Moses Moody and Will Richard. A lot of small ball from the Dubs. How do you think that affects the Magic, man? All this small ball that you're going to get thrown your way.
I forgot it, but as a guy living in Florida, I forgot about Will Richard, the former Florida Gator. Wow. That has he been a gem for y'all? I know he
Yeah,
had a
he's been balling. He's
I
been
know he had a
great.
30-point outing the other game, and I was like, Will Richard?
He's
Really?
solid. Yeah, he's solid. I don't think he's going to do anything too crazy aside from that 30-point game, but
Right.
he's someone that'll give you 9. He's not going to turn it over too much. He's going to
That's what
play pretty good defense, and he's going to get some O boards and some steals, and give you 9 and 4.
that's all you can ask for. He's second rounder, right? Like
56th overall. You'll take it, man.
That you'll take that. 9-point smart player. Like, yeah, you'll take that in the 56th pick. What I think about the Warriors playing small ball, that could be challenging for the Magic just because if Suggs ends up missing it, you really don't have any true like backcourt players other than Desmond Bane and Tyus Jones.
Because Anthony Black's not really. He's like kind of
he's a point guard by like trade. Like they drafted him to be a point guard, but he's not a point guard.
he can't shoot. Can he handle?
No, he's not a particularly good ball
Really?
handler. Now he can defend. Now the thing is he can defend pretty much 1 through 3. I would say he's 6'7", so he can go through 1 through 3. But he's not an actual point guard himself. The only point guards you have are Desmond Bane, who's really more of a 2, Jalen Suggs, who might miss the game, and then Tyus Jones, who unfortunately, as much as I have been, clamoring for the Magic to get this guy, has been awful. And I mean,
Really?
so like Magic fans are ready to trade this guy. This is a dude who averaged 9 points a game the past however many seasons, was leading the league in assist to turnover ratio, was like a 40% 3-point shooter. Chuck, he's averaging like 2 points and he's shooting, I want to say 20% from the floor, 10% from, he's made 1 3 in 14 games.
Tyus.
He can, and he's a complete cone on defense. So you have nothing on that side either. And it's just Jamal Mosley has nowhere else to go. People are clamoring for him to play Jace Richardson, the rookie. So I don't know.
Has Jace Richardson been getting some minutes at all? Because I've been telling the faithful that I've gotten back into card collecting, and out of the Tops box the other day, actually, I pulled a of 25 Jace Richardson hard court rookie card. I'm like, this could be worth something if he's good. But he's a 6'1" shooting guard, man.
I know. I wish he would get some minutes because he did show a little bit, a couple of flashes in the summer league and in the preseason as well. At the very least, he can shoot it, which the Magic could always use at any position. But I think Jamal Mosley, he kind of likes to stick with the veterans. He's not a big at this point now, he's past let's see what we got and play the rookies and figure out what we have and what we don't have. He wants to win now. But at some point, you got to kind of call a spade with Tyus Jones. It's just not looking good right now with him.
All right, we will tie a ribbon on the Warriors and the Magic preview, I guess we will call it, ahead of the game on Tuesday, and then we will get into some talk on the NBA as a whole and also the Houston Rockets, who played the Magic. It's fresh on Kenny's mind. I want to get his scout on the best shooting team in the NBA, huh? We'll talk.
Forget that. We champs. Why are you starting with that question? We got 4 championships.
Today's episode is brought to you by Robinhood. Your ambition just met its match. With Robinhood, you play for the win, not just on game day, every day. Locking in on every opening, beating your PR, beating it again. Channel that drive into your money. Robinhood puts you in control of your money. Trade stocks and ETFs, options, futures, and crypto all on one platform. You can now build and execute your own trades from a desktop with Robinhood Legends advanced tools, or take advantage of the new Robinhood Strategies with a tailored portfolio managed by a team of experts. You expect more from yourself, expect more from your money. Get started today at Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Again, that's Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Your money, your move. Today's episode is also brought to you by Rugiet. Let's be real. Making excuses doesn't solve anything. We've all heard them before. It's just stress. I'm tired, or it happens to everyone sometimes. But when it comes to performance, sometimes your body just needs a little extra support, and that's where Rugiet comes in. Rugiet.com offers fast-acting, doctor-prescribed treatments for ED, designed to help you stop making excuses, start making moves. Rugiet makes it easy to get started. Connect with a board-certified doctor, 100% online, no awkward waiting rooms, no in-person appointments. If you're prescribed, your treatment ships discreetly straight to your door. It's fast, it's simple, it's private, all handled by real doctors. It's about confidence, connection, and getting back to the moments that matter. Visit Rugiet.com/LockedOnNBA to get 15% off your first order. That's Rugiet, RUGIET.com/LockedOnNBA. Don't forget to use our code LockedOnNBA so they know we sent you. Rugiet, stop making excuses and start making moves.
Who can stop Steph Curry?
Hopefully we'll never find out.
All right, Kenny, I'm interested to get your thoughts on the best three-point shooting team in the NBA. The Houston Rockets, who were bricklayers last year. It was the main reason why the Warriors, I thought, were able to take them down in the NBA playoffs. If Van Fleet wasn't knocking them down, they didn't have anyone that could put the ball in the basket. This year, they're 42% from three. Şengün's improved his percentage from 22 to 44%. Tari's shooting 50%. Jabari Smith having a career year. Okogie, 45%. Aaron Holiday, 45%. Reed Shepherd at 47%. Durant's at 40%. The list goes on and on of dudes on that team that could put the ball in the basket. You just saw the Magic take them into OT without Paolo. Your thoughts on Houston? Are they for real? Would they scare you more than Golden State in a 7-game series? Just your overall thoughts on them.
I would say yes. I think they would scare me a little more than Golden State just because I think they have a little bit more of a complete team. Like, to me, I think if you're going to go compare it, player wise, KD and Curry, they kind of nullify each other. They're both elite scorers. They can both shoot the heck out of it. But Houston, to me, has a little bit better pieces around KD than the Warriors have necessarily around Steph Curry. KD was nuts in that game, dude. It got to the point there in the fourth quarter. The credit to the Magic, they played hard. They played without Paulo. They didn't have Suggs for that game. And they dominated. I wouldn't say dominated, but they led by 14 at one point, and they were up by 8 or more, I would say, all the way up until the end of the third quarter. And then fourth quarter, they just kind of ran out of gas. Guys were tired. Franz Wagner was being asked to be the main scorer for the Magic and defend KD and defend Şengün at the same time. And he just ran out of steam. But KD was awesome in that game, dude. He is exactly what Houston needed. You talked about them last year being bricklayers. Just last year, they just never had that guy. You need a guy that you could just be all right, it's crunch time, 2 minutes left in the game. We need buckets. Who do we give the ball to? Houston didn't have that guy last year. Now they do in Kevin Durant. And that's exactly what they did to the Magic. The Magic, it was I don't know. They led by 9, I think, with 7 minutes left. And then slowly but surely, Kevin Durant,
Mid-range, dude.
15-foot jumper, 22-foot step back three-pointer, gets to the basket and one off the top of the glass. It's just the dude. And I knew it every time. You're he got to a point where it's he's making that. That's going in. Yep, that's in too. It's so frustrating as an opposing fan to watch it go down in real time. But it was a fun game to watch. Houston, besides him just shooting the lights out, the rebounding is insane, dude. The rebounding is absolutely ridiculous with that Houston team. When they go double bigs with Şengün and Steven Adams, it's like a bunch of dads playing Nerf basketball with their little kids. It's not fair. The Magic got out rebounded in that game 60-38. 60-38, Chuck.
Sounds like the postseason last year for the Warriors. The Warriors were getting dominated on the glass.
And the Magic, they're not a small team by any means. They don't play. They don't really play any small ball. I know Paolo didn't play in this game, but Wendell's 6'10", Franz is 6'10", Anthony Black's 6'7", Goga Bitadze plays a bunch. He's 6'11". Tristan da Silva's 6'8". They got big dudes. It's just Steven Adams is a mountain of a man. He's impossible to move. He doesn't do anything offensively other than just get rebounds. And that was kind of their best offense last year, was just miss a shot, let Steven Adams rebound it and kick it back out. And then Şengün as well. It was just, that was probably the most deflating part of the game, was in that fourth quarter. Yeah, the Magic struggled to score offensively because they kind of just ran out of gas. But the Rockets, they were missing shots. The Magic still played their typical tenacious defense, but they couldn't get the ball. They couldn't rebound it. The Rockets are getting second opportunities, third opportunities, fourth opportunities. And it's that's so deflating as a defender. It's dude, even when we do everything right, we still can't catch a break.
Their starting lineups an average of like 6'10". I mean, you got Durant at 6'11", and Amin Thompson at
Dude,
6'9", running point. And then you got Reed Shepard coming off the bench that looks like
yeah,
he's coming into his own.
he was playing with some confidence on Sunday.
Yeah, he looks a lot better.
He does. It looks like they got something with that pick. Like he looks really good. I don't know if he'll be like a star or anything, but he's a he's a good player. Like he's a rotation guy for them now, moving forward. They played a lineup in that game where it was Amin Thompson and then Jabari Smith, Kevin Durant, Şengün, and Steven Adams. It was 4, 6, 10 guys on the floor at once.
Yeah.
Like, what are you supposed to do?
I don't know. The Warriors somehow were able to just utilize, their small ball last year against them.
Yeah.
Actually, it was Looney who kind of neutralized those double bigs last year in that game 7. Yeah, Looney had a big time series, at least down the stretch of that one. But mainly it was just Curry hitting huge shots, and then Buddy Hield had, I think it was 9 threes and 34 points or whatever.
Just don't have anybody like that. Like
any microwaves that can
Bane,
that can go out there and,
Bane can get hot, but he's only done that like a handful of times so far.
So we've kind of talked about the scariest teams in the West, and it's pretty obvious. It's teams like I mean, I wouldn't have thought it was LA before the season, but I think you got to put the Lakers. Yeah, I mean, they look good without Braun. So at this point, and Reeves looks awesome. At this point, Lakers. Even though the Warriors swept the Spurs, you got to put the Spurs up there, the Nuggets, the Thunder. Considering the Warriors have swept the Spurs and beaten the Nuggets, I think you got to include the Warriors in that, the Rockets as well. So those are kind of the teams from the West. Who from the East? Because I thought originally it was Orlando, Detroit, Knicks. Those were like my 3 teams. And now I'm sitting here like maybe Atlanta. They're playing. Jalen Johnson's been awesome. Like, who from the East is kind of cream of the crop to you?
Yeah, I mean, right now it's got to be Detroit. I mean, they're 11-2. They've been blowing out teams. They've been beating teams without their best players. Like, what was that game a couple days ago? I think it was maybe the Bulls they played.
Yeah,
and no Cade, no Asar Thompson, no Jalen Durant. Like, they didn't have I don't think any of their starters played, or maybe one did. And they beat the Bulls, who were hot for a while there. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, Chicago fans. I think you regressed to the means there. Playing is possible. I think they're a playing team, but I didn't think you were going to finish top 4. No, it's Detroit still, I would say. They look great. Cade's been amazing. Then I think it's kind of open. Like, I think you're seeing some teams like the Magic's really struggled early on, but I think they're starting to come into form now with Desmond Bane and everybody. The offense, like I think the last 8 games or something like that, they've been top 10 in both offensive and defensive rating. So they seem to be trending in the right direction. The defense is back to being like a top 10 defense in the league, which is good for them. That's been their identity for however many years now. The Knicks, I mean, the Magic beat the Knicks, but like the Knicks, I don't know, they kind of up and down sometimes. Like the offense is great, but then the defense can like really flounder, which not that surprising with Mike Brown as your head coach. And then Cleveland, I don't know either. Like they've haven't really impressed me either. You mentioned the one team that stood out to me, Atlanta. Atlanta's interesting because like Trae Young's been out for a couple games now. I think they're 7-2 without him. They look really good without Trae Young. And I know no Hawks fans are like, no, we're not having that conversation. We're better with Trae. Yeah. I'm just saying. It's worth having.
I mean, Jalen Johnson's one of the great young facilitators in the game. And if he can develop a reliable jump shot, which has been going down at a pretty good clip at this stage of the season, then you got an all-star in Atlanta that they're going to be building around, whether Trae Young's there or not. And I've heard a lot of talk about, do the swap of Trae Young for Ja Morant. And I don't know what's going to happen at the deadline, man.
That's not the move.
I don't know what's going to happen with a lot of these teams, specifically Memphis and Ja, if he's moved at the deadline. And Anthony Davis, where is he going to end up? The only thing that I know, man, is that the Warriors and the Magic play on Tuesday, and that you are a soldier for sticking it out tonight. 35 minutes of Warriors Magic talk. Kenny Morales, thank you, folks.